Hello there, Commonwealth from here, and The Legend of Zelda might be the very best thing about the Nintendo Switch 2. Definitely the least controversial, as the upgrade from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on the Nintendo Switch to Nintendo Switch 2 is pretty much free. Well, free in Nintendo terms, that being that you have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription. But at the same time, it is far more than we could have expected, because most of us just thought, okay, we'll get Breath of the Wild 4K and can hope for a cheaper way to upgrade. Well, it's not only for Breath of the Wild, it's also for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And apparently it's going to be the same case for Echoes of Wisdom that came out last year. The Legend of Zelda just keeps on winning, that is the truth. And now in 4K. It is incredible that these massive open world games are going to be in 4K, most likely 60 frames per second, or at least 4K 30 frames per second. It's absolutely ridiculous when you think about it. When we saw Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom struggle to reach even full HD and maintain 30 frames per second. Like, it's a completely new situation, and we're getting this upgrade with new added content. Not so much within the game itself, but through the online app, which finally has some purpose now that chat is being moved to a far better solution than we used to have. I think that 4K Zelda is absolutely the most positive thing, with the least controversy involved whatsoever. Like, when you look at it, we have enhanced resolution and frame rates, which is going into 4K, HDR support for vibrant images, meaning that it's going to be looking as good as on the OLED, if not even better on our TVs. Loading times are on a whole new level. It literally takes seconds to load into the open world of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, no longer in the tens of seconds. And what's more, we can transfer our data. It's literally Final Fantasy VII Remake integrate from PS4 to PS5, where, yes, we're not getting it for free, but we are getting new features. I know a lot of people have not beaten Tears of the Kingdom, so this is a way for many people to get back into the game, especially since you have additional manual save file. And in many ways, Zelda Notes adds the reason to return to these two games, because you have your own satnav, but more importantly, you have voice memories, which adds new lore, or actually more fills in the blanks that we had in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, especially when it comes to locations and some of the events that took place in present times, or even the past, as we see in the case of Raru, since Princess Zelda isn't the only voice that we'll be having. And in addition, we'll have daily bonuses. We'll be able to share items, and what's more important in Tears of the Kingdom, Autobuild sharing. Like, the fact that this wasn't in the base game is beyond me, because now we can actually use all those crazy vehicles that we saw on YouTube, but we couldn't recreate because it would take way too long, and Autobuild and Ultra Hand just made it into a hassle. So what do we have? We have 4K, we have 60 frames per second, we have HDR, we have save data transfer, plus features for Nintendo Switch Online app. Meaning that if you don't have Nintendo Switch Online, this is the by far easiest decision ever to upgrade, because the value of Nintendo Switch Online has just gone through the roof with this. Because not only do you get an upgrade to 4K and from a visual performance levels, you also get navigational tools, you get a better overview of completion rates, which we also will be getting through this. The voice memories, which in my opinion is probably the biggest new addition altogether, which is all voiced as well. It's a little bit disappointing that it is not in the game itself, but on the app. But it's in many ways like a tour guide, you know, those tour guides that Nintendo had in the Louvre. It feels a little bit like that. And to be honest, it's quite a lot of fun. So you get that kind of Wii U experience that we never got with Breath of the Wild, and which was sort of teased in that first gameplay showcase at the Game Awards in 2014, yes, over 10 years ago. It's just great to see that it's not just Zelda, it's going to be Raru as well, and Master Koga, most likely Minoru, since after all, she's in the Purapad. So it makes sense for her to also comment. Like, in a way, this is actually having like a companion in the game, which adds extra value for continue to play. but nothing beats Autobuild sharing. Like, now we're going to be able to actually use our Zonite to have the craziest vehicles and have fun with them, you know? We can just reload the save after having our fun with it, and then do it again and again and again. Like, the possibilities with this is amazing. And also being able to share items, it's cool, but I personally think that it's not really that needed. Photo Studio is a very cool feature. Having statistics is cool, though I think that it's not as important as, say, daily bonuses, which gives us extra meals, energy cell recharges, and stamina recoveries, which are great. Actually, will be rewarding us for logging into the app and also playing the game and enjoying the 4K adventure. It is a launch day title. It is once again Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as launch day titles. And around half a year later, maybe a little less, we have Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which is also in 4K, if we are to believe the trailer, because it is in 2060p for 4K. And here we could see addressing the story of the past. The story that was so detached and felt unconnected because, let's be honest, Link wasn't there. Link was in his time frame while Zelda was sent to the past without the presence of Link. As a result, Rauru, Sonia, Minoru even, and definitely the sages that are named, were very distant. While now, even if we have beaten Tears of the Kingdom, we have new Tears of the Kingdom content to look forward to. And in glorious resolution. Do I think it's going to be 4K 60 frames per second? Not really, because we all know that Hyrule Warriors requires some insane amount of rendering with all the action, flashy animations, and most of all, hordes of enemies that you are fighting in an army style. Along with special attacks, as we have seen in the case of Princess Zelda, using both the power of light and time, that being recall, and also with Minoru using her spiritual abilities and her construct in Tears of the Kingdom to make progress and battle her way through the depths of Hyrule. But overall, it just looks like we Zelda fans are the biggest winners. Also when it comes to pricing, because Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, since most of us already have Nintendo Switch Online, it's a completely free upgrade, and we get additional content through our phones. The only concern I have to say is the potential price of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Most likely it's going to be $70 at launch for the digital version, and since they're doing probably different prices for physical games, it could be $80. I don't think we're gonna see it at the same level as Mario Kart, which is 80 and 90, but I think 70-80 is most likely, which is controversial. It's more than both Breath of the Wild and even Tears of the Kingdom on the Nintendo Switch. But if this game is true to being canon, then I have a feeling that this winter is really rewarding by all means. In the case of Zelda, the 4K future is here. We have a lot to look forward to, and still these are just remasters and a new Hyrule Warriors game that will in many ways conclude the era of the Wild and Tears, which is something that I feel we absolutely needed in the case of this Zelda before we get the reveal of, who knows, the next Zelda game next year in 2026. And seeing that 4K is now the new standard and 60 frames per second as well, then let's be honest, I have a feeling that is the standard that we're going for in the next Zelda game. Have everything from that previous generation with this Link and Zelda, but also start fresh when it comes to Zelda, starting from the 40th anniversary next year in 2026. And that's also where we might see the first proper physical remake releases. Ocarina of Time 4K and Twilight Princess 4K, since, well, unlike Wind Waker, which also through GameCube Switch Online will be probably in 4K resolution, didn't need that same upgrade that Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time need. And I'm very excited for the future of The Legend of Zelda. Minus the potential price of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, I think we have something really, really special, because I think we're in for treats almost every year leading to the launch of the next open-air Zelda game, and of course top-down 2D Zelda games from Grezzo after Echoes of Wisdom. This is pretty much all we wanted, and we're not only getting Breath of the Wild 4K, we're getting Tears of the Kingdom 4K. Plus, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. If you haven't already, give your opinion in the comment section down below, and what's more, if you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, and press that notification bell. As always, a big thanks to you for watching until the very end, and to all our patreon.com/common patrons. Special shoutouts go to Raw Producer, JC Funk, and Heroes, Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintar. You all rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.